Good morning. I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be working with more of a sensory practice. So we're going to be using some props. I have a yoga block, a yoga strap, and also a tennis ball and two hand weights that are 2 pounds. So we're just going to be using some lower weight strength training essentially through this practice today. So it's a combination of different things, and what we want to do with the sensory practice is start to just notice what it feels like to be inside of our bodies, or really touch point on what that's like in this moment today. So what we do with the props is we invite the stimulus into our body. We start to notice our breath, notice our the awareness of our bodies, and then we just move into that space where we're at today. So before we get into this, just reminding ourselves that it's important that we not be quick to change the experience that's happening for us right now, but rather what we're doing is implementing these tools in this practice to find our window of tolerance and to feel good about being in that window of tolerance. And then from there, we can start to move off the mat or off of this practice or out of this practice and be more tangible in our lives with boundaries, with breath awareness, and doing things that really cultivate a sense of safety in our bodies. So what we're gonna do to get started is we're gonna find our tennis ball. And all that we're going to do to start is put the tennis ball underneath your foot. So not in a way that you're massaging the bottom of the foot, just this is the first stimulus that we're putting in towards our body or into the space of our body, and we're just noticing what it feels like. So before you put your foot onto the tennis ball, just noticing it, right? And then standing up just as tall as you can, and maybe you need to be a little bit more slouched to start, just notice. And then from there, noticing the breath. And you can keep your eyes open. So does the breath feel more constricted here? Maybe I take a longer breath rather than a deeper breath. Think expansive, longer breath if I can. And then on the exhale, where do I feel the tension or the tightness in my body? Checking with the neck. Checking in with the jaw. How about the head? How are my thoughts today? Is there a lot that's trying to be downloaded? Are you trying to process a lot? Or do you feel pretty open and expansive? How about the knees? How do the legs feel? Checking with the feet. Are the feet cold? Are the hands cold? Right. Or do you feel more of a warming sensation or any tingling? And then what we're going to do is you'll stay facing forward, but before we start to work the tennis ball, we're just going to lift the toes off the mat, spread them really wide. And then you're going to inhale, lift your heels, and just kind of sense your balance. And then exhale, let the heels sink, lift the toes, spread the toes. And then inhale, lift the heels, and then maybe start to lengthen the back body. So feel this back body start to lift with you. And just notice, do I feel weak in my back body? Or do I feel strength at all? Do I feel integrated? And then let the heels sink, spread the toes. And again, inhale, now feel the belly as you start to lift up. Put your attention to the belly. And then exhale, heels down. So just pay attention to your body as you do this. Lifting up. And exhale down. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Good. Go ahead, hands to hips. Bend your knees to assert this grounding force of your body, just reminding yourself that you're right here in the now. And as we go through this practice, if your mind or your thoughts want to go one way, just follow them there for a moment. And then with the breath, bring it back to the stimulus that we're using, to the prop that we're using, into the body focus. Okay, that's where we'll start. So hands to hips, grounding into the lower body. Feel your feet beneath you, and then allow the crown of the head just to reach up as much as you can. And just some gentle pelvic tilt. So to pull your hips back, like a posterior tilt, and then exhale, draw the tailbone down. So you lengthen through the back body and then sit really tall in the spine. Again, inhale, reach the hips back. And exhale, pull forward like you're drawing your pelvic floor up and in. And almost kind of extending Keep the knees slightly bent, even as you extend your hips through. Good. Great. And then you're going to shake it out. So start to shake out your arms and your legs. Maybe make fists, roll out your wrist. You can balance on one foot, roll out the ankle, spread the toes. Noticing the body's response as you do this, if you tense up, or if you can just bend that knee, that standing leg, to feel that grounding force again and start to relax into the upper body if you can, if that's accessible. Good. Maybe shake it out. You can jump if you want. If you brought a lot of things with you to the mat to this practice, jumping sometimes can help you get that out. You can close your eyes if that's accessible. You don't have to close your eyes, remember. Good. And then release. Take a couple breaths. Either gazing forward, down, or if it's available, eyes closed, knees stay slightly bent. Spine starts to reach just a little taller. And then exhale, release. Okay, so we'll finally get started with the tennis ball. So again, we're not massaging, we're just kind of feeling, the stimulus is now integrating, or rather coming into my space. What's that feel like? Do I tense up at all? What's it feel like? Yeah. What does my hip feel like as it starts to move? As the ball moves me either forward and back or side to side. And we'll do the other side. And just noticing. And slowly just start to release. Go ahead, you can just kind of move that tennis ball off your mat towards the top of the mat or wherever. And then where we're going to go from here is we're going to work with the arms and kind of get into the rotation of the shoulder a bit. So we're going to reach for our strap, if you have a strap, okay? And essentially what we want to do is start to activate our back muscles. And so that includes our trapezius, that includes the rhomboids, that includes our serratus muscle, which is like right below the armpit. So sometimes what happens is we can really constrict and round into this space and we get a sense of weakness or collapse. So we're going to start to open that a little bit and do a little bit of strengthening into that space. So we're just going to reach for the strap and we're going to make sure that we don't lock the wrist. Okay, so locking the wrist would look something like this. We want to keep the wrist nice and straight in line with the arm. Okay, and then just notice what that feels like. You're just going to kind of just not really grip the strap so hard, but just a gentle pull. And on your inhale, so bend those knees, then look forward, start to reach the strap up, and then exhale down. Good. So it's like you're pulling your hands away from each other. That's where you're really going to ignite the back muscles. So we're going to bend the knees, inhale, lift up, and then exhale. Let the strap come down. Contracting navel to spine. So the belly is nice and soft as you inhale, lift. Lift the rib cage slightly, and then exhale. Squeeze the hands apart as you draw the strap back down. Just a few more. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Keep your pelvis nice and stable if you can. And again, inhale, lift. And down. Good. Okay, so what you're going to do now is just try this out. Think about hip distance. Good. Keep those knees slightly bent and inhale. Just lifting the strap above the head, just a full range of motion. So if you get to a point where it just feels sticky or stuck, you can go about an inch below and just pause. Try to roll the shoulders onto the back. Squeeze the hands slightly apart. Maybe go a little higher. If that's available, feel your rib cage lift. And then exhale. Down. Good. About 4 more. So inhale, squeeze, lift. Let the neck be soft if you can. Exhale, release. Feel the arms start to rotate, or rather just move through the sternum bone and the shoulders. About 2 more. Inhale, lift. Feel the chest lift a little higher. Open and down. Good. 1 more. Inhale. just find some kind of shoulder, torso rotations as you bend your knees, let your arms go back from side to side. You can gaze forward or track the movement of the hands if that's available. Good. Come back towards center. You're going to take so I'll mirror your left hand towards your right rib cage. You're just going to let the right rib cage stay right where it's at, and then sweep that right arm around. So keep your knees bent. You're just going to sweep your right arm around. Let the neck and the shoulder relax. Good. So you feel this in that right side body. Now you're going to reach your right arm up and over. Keep those knees bent. Sweep the left arm up and over, side body stretch. Feel the grounding energy of the feet. Exhale, release. Okay, we'll take that right hand to the left rib cage, just so the left rib cage stays right where it's at. And we're going to rotate from that left shoulder. You're going to reach your left arm, cross body reach. Really reach your left fingertips to the right side, just as much as you can, not too much. Upper body's relaxed as you're breathing. Rotate that left arm down, up and goes back towards the left leg, and that right arm reaches over. And slowly release. Good, shake that out. Okay, tabletop. So instead of traditional cat-cow, we're going to spread our palms really wide. We're going to find that tabletop. So think about that 360 degree, the breath. So we're not just breathing into the front body. On the exhale, press your hands to the mat. Feel the exhale kind of push into the back body if you can. Try that a couple times as you're just right here in your tabletop. So take an inhale. Let the lower belly just kind of drop slightly. Exhale, push into your palms. Feel the breath ignite through your back muscles. And again, inhale. Exhale. Try that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Push the breath into the back body. Okay, so now we're just going to let the shoulders kind of drop along with that practice. On the inhale, let the shoulders drop and the head drop. And then exhale, push into your palms. Keep your spine neutral. Tuck your tailbone just a little bit. Reach the crown of the head forward. So you push your shoulders back up to the sky. Then inhale, drop the shoulders, drop the head. Exhale, push into your palms. So you really, really protract the back body, but you're not rounding like a cat pose. You're staying pretty neutral. 2 more times. Let the shoulders drop. The head can drop a little bit. Exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. Let's go ahead. Just kind of sit back on the heels if that's accessible. Shake out the wrists. And I even like to take my opposite hand to the opposite wrist. Squeeze just a little bit and kind of flick my fingers open. Shake that out, and then the other side. Notice how the neck responds. We always want to check in with the head and the neck. That's where that extra tension always wants to go. So we're just going to kind of release that down. Okay, we're going to come back to standing. You're going to find your yoga block. And this time what you're going to do is keep your feet hip distance, and you're going to take your yoga block just a little higher above your knees. So just about right about there. And if that doesn't feel good, you can also kind of squeeze it down a little bit more towards the inner knees. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to find our 2-pound weights. If you don't have 2-pound weights, you could use like 2 cans of soup or 2 cans of something else that you have in your pantry. That's totally fine too. Okay, so I'm going to show you from the front, and then I'll go to the side. I'm going to keep the knees bent. Okay, so just like this, you're going to stand up really tall, and it looks like this from the side. So instead of kind of rounding down, we're going to squeeze the block, knees stay slightly bent, and we're going to pull the tailbone under and stand up just as high as we can. Okay? So what we're going to do from here, turn back forward, you're just going to let your hands rest gently, gently. Just feel the weights into your hands, or just a slight little squeeze, not gripping. We don't want to really tense up the shoulders. And as we squeeze, we're just going to inhale, just lift the weights just a little bit in front of our hips. And then exhale, squeeze the block gently and relax. So squeeze the block. Inhale, lower belly contracts. Inhale. and down. Inhale, reach. So if you feel pretty strong in your shoulders, you can take your arms up a little higher, but if not, just stay right about here. Spread your toes. A couple more rounds. Rib cage is expanding slightly on the inhale. Exhale again, you're contracting the lower navel to spine. And down. Good. Let's do one more. Inhale. And down. Good. Gently release. When I take your block, remove it from the inner knees. You can set your props down towards the ground. Okay, and then we're going to find the wall, and we're going to take our feet almost like a squat, okay, almost like we were doing like a chair pose, so like about this. And essentially what we're going to do, so you can use the weights for this, or you don't have to use the weights. If that didn't feel good with the stimulus of the weights to the body, you can do this without weights. So essentially we'll go to the wall. So I want your knees right over your heels. So you have to walk the feet out a little bit. And just notice, so now we use the wall as like a prop. Like how does this feel on my body to sit tall against the wall? This could be enough for you today, right? This could be enough. So we're not gonna let our lower back kind of round. We're gonna really push that lower back with the exhale, just gently into the wall. So just feel the wall support you. And it's not a squat enough to like really get a hamstring engagement. They're gonna engage, but it's not gonna be like super deep or super challenging. We're just kind of using the wall to support the back body, okay? So here we go. We're gonna do the same thing with squeezing either the weights or just make fists and just start to reach your arms up. And then exhale. So now you have the wall behind you as you feel the exhale into your back body. And then try that again. So inhale and exhale. Maybe you can even try it a couple times without the weights, and then you can reach down. Reach for the weights. Inhale and exhale. Hugging the heels energetically together, even though feet are hip distance. Good. Just a few more. Gazing forward or out. Inhale, you reach and lift. Exhale down. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Slowly start to walk your feet back. Okay. Let's go ahead, shake that out. Take a couple moments just noticing how the practice is either resonating or not resonating with your body. This could be enough, everything that we've done so far for today. Or you're welcome to move on to the next thing that we're going to do. So, and I should preface that. So maybe you watch this session first and then you go back and you pick and choose what you want to do. You always can walk around or just stop for a few moments and then come back to the work if you need to. You don't have to do this back to back to back to back. Yeah, just taking what you need, doing what you need when you need to do it. So what your body and your window of tolerance can tolerate today. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to find our strap again. And this time we're going to go to a lunge. So still working with the shoulders and the hips, feeling the integrity of the lower body to support the upper body. So the lunge might not be huge. You might just be right about here, or you can take that left foot back. So I'm going to feel into this and see what's best for my body today. If my balance is off, you can also go towards the wall. And you can do this with one arm at a time, okay? So I always recommend to slightly bend the back knee, just so we don't round, right? We're not straightening so much. We really want to lift up through that back leg with the knee slightly bent, and then the spine gets taller. Okay, so I'll show you this first with the strap, and then if you need to go to the wall, you can use the wall instead. So again, we'll take that strap a little bit wider than the shoulder without breaking the wrist on the ball of the back foot, and then we're just going to inhale, lift. Just going to your full range of motion. So this might be enough for if you inhale, you want to come up, and then exhale, down. So the purpose of this is to feel this a little bit more to that left psoas muscle too. right? It's like a hip flexor that really supports the entire body. It's a big muscle. Sometimes that gets really, really tight and kind of dormant in the body. So this is help waking it up. So again, inhale, we lift, and exhale, down. 3 more, inhale, slightly keep that back knee bent, lift up, and down. 2 more, inhale, lift, and down. And again, inhale, lift. Squeeze the straps slightly where we're using those shoulders, strengthening that back body and down. So again, if that doesn't work for you, you can go to the wall and you can just do one arm. I recommend like squeezing your fist out to the side, slightly keep the back knee bent, one arm at a time. Right. And you would do it on the other side, 5 times each, okay? So all you're gonna do is switch out, take that left foot forward, right foot back, and start 5 rounds, okay? So, and again, maybe the left side of the body is a little bit more wobbly than the other, and you just need to go to the wall for this side. So you don't have to do the same thing on each side, right? This is more about leaning into your body and filtering into your body what you need for today. All right, so the last thing that we're going to do is just sitting down and getting into the hips a little bit. So the feet come down towards the ground. You might need that block nearby. And take your feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Just sitting up as tall as you can. Good, long spine. And then from here, your hands can come behind you. So you're gonna let the feet and the knees sway from one side. And then exhale to the other. And then to one side. And then to the other. Maybe do this a few times each way. And then what we're going to do is let the knees fall to one side. So try to get about a 90 degree of both legs. And this is where you might need the block. So if you need it underneath a hand and you want to stay lifted, stay here. This might be enough for your body today. If you feel pretty stable and you're not super hyper flexible, I would recommend coming down to the forearms if that's accessible. But if you tend to kind of dump into the joints if you're really flexible, try to stay up and engage and kind of hug the legs together even though they're not moving to find a little bit more strength. It's going to help for the lower belly and also the lower back and the spine. Just notice, can I just start to notice the tension of the neck? And I'm not trying to change anything, I'm just opening up my window of tolerance. And then maybe things start to change from there. And then slowly start to come back to center. Go ahead, take your feet down to the ground first and just shift towards the other side. And notice, does this side feel different? Do I need to adjust my body? What feels best for me? Can I tolerate this even today? If not, you can always stand up or do something else, right? You can walk away. You can come back to it when you're ready. And again, so maybe you stay here and stay lifted. And just start to gently kind of turn your torso forward. Like, oh, that's interesting. What would it feel like if I took my forearms down? Oh, that's too much. And come right back here. Okay, I'm on a honoring mat. That type of thing. The best thing we can always do is have this mindful sense for ourselves. That's what the sensory practice does, is it starts to help us mindfully be in tune with what we're dealing with today in our bodies. And again, coming back to the window of tolerance. Can I accept myself for where I'm at today and where I'm at in this journey? And slowly come up. Good. And then, so we're not going to we're not going to take a constructive rest pose for this practice. We're actually just going to come towards tabletop. And then just sit back to the heels if that's okay. And take a breath. Exhale again, shake it out. Maybe think about a positive intention or a thought or an emotion that you want to try to lead the rest of your day with, whether it's just stay present or if it's a goal that you have, something that really helps you self-soothe. If you can think about that. And again, if you don't know, then just commit to your breath if you can today, if that's accessible. But that's all that we have. Thank you so much, and definitely send me questions if you have any. Have a great day.